So I've been a bit of a hater of the Blancpain Swatch since its release. There's just enough things that I don't like about it. There's just enough little niggles that I have with these. But I thought, you know, I haven't really given these a fair shot. I haven't even seen one of these in the flesh yet. So I went down to London and I bought one. And I didn't think it was possible, but my opinion might be even lower now that I've been hands-on with one of these. Well, that might be too hasty. There are some things that have won me over and some things that have just made me sad. So let's process this together. If you're new to this channel, my name is Brittany and we just talk about all things watches here. Today we have in the Scuba 50 Arctic Ocean and this is my personal watch. I should not have bought this. But I just want to say, before we get into this is not a hit piece against Swatch. I really don't enjoy doing negative videos. If you have a Scuba 50 and love it, please don't let my opinion get in the way of that. That's all this is, my opinion. Watches and watch tastes are so subjective, and this is just my experience since owning this watch. I went into this hoping I'd be wrong. I really was hoping. All my little sour grapes, mean little opinions, I wouldn't think them anymore after being hands-on with the Scuba 50. That's what happened with me in the Moon Swatch. I was initially such a hater, but I grew to like it and appreciate it for what it is. But this hasn't happened for me yet with the Scuba 50. Let's start by talking specifications and wearing experience. This watch has a case diameter of 42.3 millimeters, a thickness of 14.4 mil, and a lug-to-lug of 48 millimeters. Just like they did with the Moon Swatch, Swatch has kept the dimensions very true to the 50 fathoms. It's like wearing a weird, very lightweight, colorful Blancpain. The proportions are large, but this has always been a large watch, so that is to be expected. So here's the Scuba 50 on my 5.5-inch wrist and my husband's 7-inch wrist. Back to the specifications, these have 91 meters of water resistance, or 50 fathoms, and it is powered by the System 51 automatic movement, giving you a pretty impressive 90 hours of power reserve. The case material is bioceramic, as Swatch calls it, and it looks and feels a great deal like plastic, but according to Swatch, it is 1/3 bio-sourced plastic and 2/3 ceramic. But yeah, it looks and feels like plastic. It has a functional unidirectional bezel, also made of bioceramic, but with a gloss finish to it. One of the cool little design details that I appreciate is the drilled lugs, which feels kinda old school. Now this specific model, the one I chose, is the Arctic Ocean. I was really torn between two, either the Arctic Ocean or the Antarctic Ocean. And since being home and reflecting on it, they're both a very me choice. Both are no date, niche models that they're nodding to, with specific functionality, with the Arctic featuring the mil-spec moisture indicator, and this one being the no rad, or no radium. I ultimately chose this one because it was in stock, and I could actually buy it. If the Antarctic was in stock, I probably would have bought that one instead. But Swatch had me, you know? I'd already paid the train fare to London. I wasn't leaving without a watch. They had me. But you know, there's so many things I really like about this watch, and I like about this release in general. For one, I think it was time for Blancpain to have their moment in the sun and to be celebrated. So these were released in 2023 to celebrate the 70th anniversary of the 50 Fathoms, the first dive watch, as we know a dive watch today. I love the way they honored so many different iterations of this watch and the ocean tie-in using different oceans to resemble different watch models. On the Arctic Ocean specifically, I love the color schemes, even down to the red-orange tip on the seconds hand, and even the movement bothers me less in person than I thought it would. So each of these variations has a unique mechanical movement with a weird little sea creature on it. I wasn't a big lover of the movement aesthetically, but because it is hidden under the NATO strap, meh, you'll never notice it. But there are also some things that disenchanted me immediately after being hands-on with this. And while we're talking about the NATO, I think we need to start there. The very first thing you're going to want to do when you buy this watch is change the strap. So one of the big gimmicks with these is that the strap is made from recycled fishnets, paying homage to Blancpain's ocean conservation efforts. Now, I already didn't really like the strap messaging going into it. Well, I loved the messaging. Who doesn't love conservation and recycling? But to have this messaging with the strap, then paired with a plastic watch, it didn't really make sense for me. And on top of that, a plastic watch with an unserviceable movement. But I'll talk about the movement in a minute here. But just subjectively, the NATO strap looks and feels very cheap. And I'm not saying this as someone with a highbrow taste in NATO straps. I'm a big fan of a cheap and cheerful NATO. But this strap feels and looks pretty cheap. So all the components like the buckle are made from bioceramic, which doesn't give it the best feeling. But the big problem for me was not being able to easily fasten it. So this is a double pass NATO, and I have smaller wrists, so I always need to turn the strap back in on the ends, if that makes sense. Very common thing, never been a problem before. But with these keepers, it's very, very tight. Like the keepers are almost just a little bit too small for the strap. And you feel like you're doing something wrong with it. You feel like you're fraying the strap while trying to get it in. This could be a unique issue to me. It could be a QC problem with the specific one I have. Let me know in those comments down below if you have this watch and you have this problem as well. But I thought, whatever, you don't buy a watch for the strap, and I already knew I was going to change it out when I got home. So I wasn't going to let that get me down. But then, freaking of course, I completely forgot. This watch has a 21.3 millimeter lug spacing. So I was a bit limited on NATO selections, but I landed on this khaki green watch gecko strap. I really wanted to wear it on my sand color strap. I aesthetically prefer that, and I need to buy one at 21 mil. But my big lingering problem with this is that you can't service it. One of the unique and exciting things about this release was that it had a mechanical movement. And so many people who collect watches and love watches are total romantics. We love that we can collect these little machines that will outlive us. If you service it and take good care of it, it will outlive me, and I can pass it along to someone else and it'll be meaningful to them. However, the movements in the Scuba 50s cannot be serviced due to the case design with the fitted display case back, and the System 51 movement is fitted with rivets rather than screws. Essentially making this a 340-pound watch or $400 USD watch that will eventually be landfill, despite the recycled strap. I can't believe I paid over 300 pounds for this. The train fare alone. You know, in the world of luxury watches, 340 pounds is nowhere near the largest price tag. But that still is a lot of money. Don't get delusional with prices. That still is a lot of money. 340 pounds is going to a nice tasting menu with my husband or buying a few nice pairs of shoes. I'm still saying luxury first world things. I sound like a Bond villain. That's a month's worth of groceries. That's some really great quality time with your children. You can do so much with 340 pounds. If you love this watch, don't let my mean little opinion get in the way of you loving your watch. It really just is my opinion. It doesn't matter. We all have different subjective preferences, so don't listen to me and my sour grapes. This is, just me. And there's watches I love that you guys don't love. I don't want to poop on someone else's thing that they love. I just didn't like it very much. No, I really feel conflicted about these. I love the idea. I'm just not fully here with the execution. The concept is so great, and it just wasn't executed quite right. But this is just my opinion. I'd love to know all of yours in those comments down below. Put me in my place if I'm dead wrong. Subscribe if you haven't yet. And let's thank the fabulous, gorgeous, wonderful Pope tier patrons. Hello, it's me just slightly zoomed in. Now, as we all know, the patrons of Gringaland are gorgeous, perfect, wonderful, and they've never done anything wrong in their lives, ever. And I had to just say, one Pope tier patron, Jobert, I never say your name right, and you're so lovely, I'm so sorry, but he had one of the best ideas ever. I was saying these are landfill. But he was saying he has one, and when it stops working eventually one day, he's going to use it as a Christmas decoration, like a little Christmas bauble for the tree. I thought that was brilliant. And that's example of the quality people. The best and brightest minds are in Gringaland. So thank you so much to the gorgeous, fabulous Pope tier patrons. Thank you all tier patrons. Yeah, you guys really, really keep the channel going. So thank you. I hope you keep enjoying my content. I love making it. Bye, guys.